Whether she's sitting down by herself or with her friends, that's what Sayo says. Sayo says, have you heard what Sayo says? Whether she's sitting down by herself or with her friends, that's what Sayo says. Let me make eye contact with you. I want to stare into your eyes. Make it very intimate. Yeah, you like that? Sorry, okay, let me stop flirting with you. It's really bad, I'm such a flirt. Hello, baby. How are you doing? Sexy pie, cutie patootie. Welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Guten Tag. That's welcome in German, right? Hello, good morning. Guten Tag. Aloha. For all of our international listeners. Hello and welcome to my show, Sayo Says. I am your host, Adesayo, but you can call me Sayo. Love that for me. Today, I almost died dead before I got here. Mind you, it's hot as the devil's belly button. It is hotter than demon crabs. I don't know where that metaphor was going. We'll just act like that didn't happen. But it's hot. I live in the UK. There was something infrastructurally not sound with this country, with this nation. We cannot handle hot heat. We cannot handle rain weather. They cannot handle hailstone weather. They cannot handle snow weather. They can't even handle a dry day. There's always something problematic going on with transport. There's always problems with the trains. So the train was already delayed. There were delays, there were cancellations. I'm ranting right now. I just need to get it off. And you'll see why I needed to vent as we progress further into the story, yeah? Because it's just back to back calamity. The calamities that have befallen my life today, this morning alone, is crazy, honestly. So the train is delayed. 3 trains were cancelled. Cancel, delay, cancel. I was already running late. Cancel, delay, cancel. I finally get onto the train. I make my way through the station. I'm on the escalators with luggages. Portmotto, Ghana must go. I'm carrying, I'm wheeling my luggage with me because I have quite a few things to do today. I'm on the escalators. I'm walking. Bass! I said, I turn around. I look down. Why is my skirt caught on the teeth of the escalator step? I'm walking. And me, when I walk, I'm very la, very airy, airheaded, airy fairy, away with the fairies, in my own little world. So the escalators just said, if I grab you, dear. Shout out to Grace Ajilore. If I grab you, dear, the escalator said. The skirt got caught in the escalators. Oh my goodness, I'm panicking. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is the escalator going to drag down my pants for me? Is it going to reveal my knicker to the world for me? I'm desperately tugging at the skirt. Mind you, let me even show you where it is, I had to rip it. Where is it? Oh, shit. Oh, where is it? I had to rip here. You see what happened? Yeah? Let's do like YouTubers do and do the back hold. Oh, I can't do that. Yeah? I'm having to snatch my skirt as I'm fighting with the escalator step and it's fighting me back. Tell me why a woman that was at least 4 steps beneath me, why she's just stood there on the same step, heading towards me, allowing the escalator to determine her destiny for her. Seeing me, she saw me as I was tugging my skirt. She didn't even move. She didn't even move. I'm tugging at my skirt. She literally, mind you, my head is down. My head is down. So I'm tugging at my skirt. And all I feel is a knock on my head. I look up. Why is her coochie on my forehead? That is not normal. That is not normal. Her coochie is on my head because she did not think to move out of the way, despite clearly seeing me tugging at my skirt. There was nothing obstructing her vision. Nothing. I feel the bump on my head. I look up. It's her. And I remember, you were like 3 steps behind me. What? I said, move. I push her out of the way. Because what are you doing? I didn't say move. I don't know what I said, but I definitely said, like, can't you see me? Something along those lines. And I just nudged her out of the way because what are you doing? Mind you, on the left-hand side, you can walk. Other people did that. People who were further away from the scene of the crime exhibited here. They were able to move away. But you, I know you'll never see this, but you're just there putting your coochie on my head. Don't you know that consent is sexy? Doesn't she know that consent is sexy? So I guide her firmly out of my way. A lovely lady pushes the emergency stop. I have a video of just after it had happened. A lovely lady pressed the emergency stop button for me so that, people wouldn't be coming into me. And I'm tugging. I'm trying to unhook it. There's no way to unhook it. I just yank it. I tear it open. Tear open the bomb. I tear it open. Because I said, look, I'm already late. Train's already been delayed. Cancelled, delayed. I'm trying to get to my succulents. Succulents. I'm trying to get to my succulents so that I can come and film my show and gist with you. So I yank it off. I'm just like, whatever. And then I go and tell one of the station people, TFL people, who is in charge of employment on TFL. And what kind of deviant are you to be hiring such fine workers? Is that one of the requirements? There's been many tweets about this, and I'm glad that everyone is picking up on it. What is it with all the fine ass, sexy, good-looking TFL staff on the underground and overground? Especially at that Saint Pancreatic. Fine, very, very fine. Anyways, I tell him, and he's like, oh, thank you, blah, 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 blah. I said, oh, I hope you're okay. I said, I'll leave, Sha. You know me, I'm a damsel. I don't really like being discomforted. But he checked on me. I was like, okay, cool, I'm fine. I go through. First calamity of the day. Was that the first or the second calamity? That was technically the second calamity because the trains were cancelled. Yeah. Second calamity of the day. Guys, it's been long. I didn't deserve that. But you know what? This is a great way to segue into what it is I want to talk about today. I really have beef with the idea of deservedness on almost like on like a cosmic scale though, right? From like a cosmic perspective. And I've said this before, even if I don't deserve it, I'm gonna have it. Even if I don't deserve it, I'm gonna have it. Because what do you mean deserve? As if we live in a meritocracy. Do we live in a meritocracy? No. We don't live in an absolute meritocracy. And I don't even think we live in a fairly moderate meritocracy, because if we were to try to quantify people's deservedness of good things happening to them. Where is the barrier for entry? And where's the cutoff line? How do we quantify how somebody deserves something and somebody doesn't deserve something else, right? And let's even put it in the context of, you work hard and you get the results, right? This whole idea of you work hard, you get what you want. You work hard, you get what you want. That rarely ever happens. That's not to say that it never happens, obviously. But if we're going to apply that, oh, that was nasty. Because I've not eaten today. Oh, no, I had rice and egg and stew. Lovely. Rice and stew. Hey. Rice and stew is waiting for you. Rice and stew. There's rice and stew at home. I had rice and stew and egg, small bowl of rice and stew and egg this morning. That's why I'm a bit burpy, hiccupy. Sorry if you heard it. Anyways, we don't live in an absolute meritocracy, and we don't live in even a moderate meritocracy. I think, and I know that a lot of people find it uncomfortable to think about, but things happen more randomly than I think we like to acknowledge, to be honest with you. There is rarely ever a causal link between where somebody is in their life on a grand scale, right? We're not talking about people. We're not looking at the privileged few people. Privileged? How privileged can we be if we live in a capitalist society that normalizes, femicide, normalizes rape, normalizes poverty, normalizes hate crimes, normalizes corruption, normalizes, homophobia and all these other, like racism and stuff like how, anyways, right? We're not looking at people who live in societies where they are in a more privileged position on the grand scheme of things. We're talking about the majority of the world who live in not so nice conditions. What did they do to deserve the position that they're in? People living in poverty, what do they do to deserve things that happen to them? When conversations are happening about deservedness and I didn't deserve this, I'm a good person and stuff like that, the circumstances of your life in a lot of cases for a lot of people, right, is not a true reflection of what they deserve. The circumstances of people's lives is like, even look at the fact that there are so many factors that are out of our control that determine the quality of our lives, that the idea of deservedness makes me just feel, you know what? Because I understand that the position that a lot of people are in oftentimes is not a reflection, again, like I said, of what they deserve. That's why I do not. What is imposter syndrome? Because if you work through life, if you move through life with that kind of understanding and that perspective that, yes, you can work hard and get things, there are some routes that obviously will lead you more directly to a desired outcome, a meritocratic outcome, right? Like, for example, you go to uni, you study, you submit your assignments, you put in the work, you get your degree after. That is an example of, meritocracy on a micro scale, but we're talking about on a macro scale with the idea of a cosmic conspiracy in mind, right? And so for me, because I have that understanding, because that's my perspective, right? Whenever bad things happen to me, I'm going to joke around and be like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. But I know that it's not a matter of deservedness. It's not because of, who I am as a person. I'm a great person anyway. And so when bad things happen, it's never like, oh my goodness, why me? Poor kid, poor car, like, I'm sorry, kidney, more shit. It's never on that kind of, I didn't deserve this, like monologue, internal monologue. And so when good things happen as well, it's very much like, okay, cool, like things just happen. Things are going to happen. It's not about what you deserve and what you don't deserve. And so the idea of, imposter syndrome, which I know a lot of people struggle with. If you struggle or have ever struggled with imposter syndrome, let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about this, because I know a lot of people do, because that's just how society, for a lot of people, especially marginalized groups, are made to feel. When resources, opportunities are being withheld and gate-kept from you, like especially if you're part of a marginalized community, so many opportunities are withheld from you. And that's why things like DEI, do you know that DEI benefits white women most? They're the ones who take up the majority of DEI roles. It's actually DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, right? And so imposter syndrome is just something that I have trained myself, and I think I've mastered it. I'll be so real. We're not humble on this channel, because we're gonna speak accurately and honestly about ourselves so that we have a well-informed and honest perception of ourselves, right? So I've already mastered and rewired my brain to, understand that. So imposter syndrome is something that I fortunately have not dealt with. And that's just because I'm generally just a very confident person. And this is going to sound crazy, but there's context to it, right? There is nothing that I don't think I can't do. There's nothing that I don't think I can't do. Mind you, I know that there's loads of things I suck at. There's loads of things I suck at. But that is how confident I am. It's not even delusional. I'm just so optimistic about my ability. I'm over optimistic about my abilities sometimes. But it's fun. I would much rather live life that way and then, like learn and know know where I need to adjust and know how well I need to do, than feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough, or there's not, and then have that kind of like self-deprecating, limiting mindset. I hate that shit. Because people do better when they feel good about their abilities, That is how I've become so confident, because of my abilities, because of my skill, because I put in time to understanding the things that I want to understand, to, working on the things that I want to develop and grow in. And I've been doing that, So it's just been something that has really been on my mind. Story time with Sayo. So, story time with Sayo. Story time. The day that I knew that we did not live in a meritocracy was the day that I was voted head girl of my sixth form college. I knew we didn't live in a meritocracy then and there, because I can honestly say, hand on heart, that there probably were people who would have done a better job than I. And that's just me being completely honest. Honestly. Because when I applied to be head girl, I wanted it, obviously, because I thought I'd be good at it, but also because my friends were doing it, and I just thought it was something to do. Like, I just think, and because I was applying for, college and stuff, being head girl, it shows you have leadership skills and you're enterprising, you're this and that, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it looks good on a uni application. So when I was applying for uni, that was one of the things that obviously I considered. I thought, okay, cool. If I can be head girl, this will make my application stand out even more, right? Look at the state of students now in this UK. Students are leaving university, no job. And me thinking that back in the day, being a head girl would have set you apart from the other candidates, you know what I mean? But now, right. Anyways, so that was why I applied. Guys, my presentation, my speech was 3 slides with no more than 50 words. Come and see my competitors, my age mates, doing long paragraph, long presentation, going into detail. It was gorgeous. It was amazing to see. But for me, because I don't do well when I overplan and I overthink, because I overthink too much. And so for me, because I've got the gift for the gab, you know, what was it called? Gift of the gab, innit? Yeah, gift of the gab. You know, English is not my first language. Anyway, because I've got the gift of the gab, yeah. For me, I just need some bullet points and I'll improvise. But I know what it is I want to say, right? 3 slides, no more than 50 words. The way I won, I'm convinced to this day that the reason I won was because of my personality. It really and truly was a personality contest. I'll be so real. It was just a popularity contest. And I was one of those like kids that was popular because I got on with everyone. You know what I mean? I'm very like socially intelligent and like I'm very malleable. Do you know what I mean? But not in a way that is like people pleasery. No, in a way that is like, oh, this is a part of me that is also present, and some people just bring that out of you more, you know? Like we all have different friend groups that bring out different parts of us, do you know what I mean? And that's not, you know, you switching up or code switching or whatever. It's just you showing the multidimensionality of being a human. Like we're not fixed linear people, you know, like please, right? So it was a popularity contest, and I knew it was a popularity contest, really and truly, right? But because I was witty, charming, charismatic, and I make people laugh. I'm not even trying. So because I knew that I got on with people and people liked me generally, even teachers, they loved me, right? And I loved being in that kind of environment and just being around people. I'm very much a people person, right? So the part of my presentation, my 3-slide presentation that really stood out, that got me that's my presidente, that got people coming and applauding me and saying, yeah, that's my president, was when I said, to this day, I will never forget because, I ate. Anyways, so I ended the presentation with a very simple line. And I said, and remember, you can't spell leadership without Ade. Now, for those who don't know, my name is Adesayo. Leadership, LEADERSHIP, leadership. ADE. And then I now went and highlighted ADE in leadership. And then I looked to the audience, I said, I remember, you can't spell leadership without Adi. Back in those days, I went by Adi. That was my name. Now I go by Sayo because everyone in my family is Ade something. Ade Sayo, Ade this, Ade this, Ade that. There's a lot of Ades. One friend, story time. Story time with Sayo. Every time I have a little story to tell, a little anecdote, I'm actually going to have to do that. Story time with Sayo. Anyways, a friend of mine, ex-friend of mine, right now to this day, is fuck her. Period. I can't stand that girl. She did me so dirty. That would be another story time with Sayo. Anyways, I had one friend who called my family house one time, and she said, "Oh, hello, can I speak to Addie, please?" Back in the day when we used to have landline, right? So there was a landline. She called my landline, and she said, "Oh, I'd like to speak to Addie, please." My dad was the one that answered the phone. My daddy say, "I'm Ade," because my dad's name is Ade, blah blah blah, right? So I said, yeah, I'm Adi. And then she was like, no, not you, Adi. And then my dad passes the phone to my brother, who is also Ade something, right? My brother's name is Adeyinka. My daddy, Adesoji, passes the phone to my brother, Adeyinka. My friend is on the phone like, hey, Adi, my brother, Adeyinka, answers. He says, yeah, this is Adi, because his friends call him Adi as well. My friend on the other line is like, no, Adi. And then he passes the phone to my other brother. I have 3 brothers. Passes the phone to my other brother. The same thing happened. And then I came downstairs. I got the phone eventually. And then my friend is on the other line laughing. And because, like, you say you want to speak to Adi, you're being passed around, you're doing Chinese whispers with landline. Just to speak to your friend because you didn't want to finish my name, right? So that was why I was like, you know what? Let me stop. Let me go with Sayo because my family call me Sayo. We all go by the suffix of our names, right? So the prefix is Ade. It's a very Yoruba name. Ade means crown, and then is the prefix, and then the suffix is whatever name it is, right? So I just started going by the suffix of my name, Sayo. Simple, right? Simply Sayo. Yeah, that's me. Oh. Anyways, right? That was how I won the election. And then I said, wow, in that moment, I knew that I had won. That was just, no one else got the reaction from the audience that I got because I made them laugh. I showed confidence when I was delivering the presentation because I wasn't relying on prompts. It wasn't like I was reading off of the screen. I had my back turned to the screen, press the remote to flick the page, glimpsed at it quickly, boom, talking to the audience directly for like 5+ minutes without even looking at the screen. And so I kind of won them over because, again, like I said, I'm a people person, right? So I won over the audience, my peers and the teachers, etc. Even the teachers were laughing. They were like, oh, that's witty. I'm like, yeah, thanks. Anyways, I won over everyone but one person. We're best friends now. We even got matching friendship bracelet. Sarah. I looked into the audience, basking in the glory of my standing ovation, knowing how well I had just done, confident that I had won over the hearts of my peers, right? I see one hating ass, trifling heifer. Hi, Sarah, I love you. Trifling heifer, right? Sat down, arms folded, unimpressed. She's like, that's not funny. Mind you, I find this out after the fact because we weren't friends at the time because I was friends with a group of girls that were actually mean girls. And so my whites was stained. They stained my clothes. Because they were mean girls, Sarah thought that I was a mean girl as well. And so she didn't like me based off of that. That's why you should consider the people you associate with, right? So she thought that I was a mean girl. So she been not liking me. Mind you, I didn't even know. I didn't know she didn't like me. I'm very much la 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 in my own world. So she didn't like me. She tells me after, like maybe like a few months after, or maybe like a year or so afterwards, when I was in the 6th form and we had like some classes together, etc. And I befriended some of her friends. And she had no choice but to hang out with me when I was hanging out with them in the common room, right? So she told me this retrospectively. She was like, oh, I never used to like you. Okay. Why? And then she explained that obviously it was because of the girls that I was friends with, I associated with, etc. I was just like, oh. And she was like, yeah, but obviously I got to know you and like now I love you and now we're friends and blah, blah, blah. Mind you, she kicked me in Primark. Yes, Sarah, I'm still talking about this story because I haven't gotten over it. Yeah? She kicked me in Primark, but I forgave her because she's a good friend. Okay? But it was that day that I truly understood and I had my own I really, really understood. There's layers to understanding. I feel like that day I got to the very last layer of understanding. I was like, oh, okay, we really don't live in a meritocracy. Because if we were going by, effort put into the presentation and, you know, like the merit of the time that took to create the presentation. Like, I was improvising. I was just spitballing. Do you know what I mean? I was just being honest and saying what it is I wanted to do and what it is I care for, my what's the political term for my policies? Yeah, screw it. We'll just say policies. I was very confident in what it is I was saying. So I was just being honest. I was just being truthful, right? But if we were to measure meritocracy and deservedness by the amount of effort and time and hours put into the presentation, I did not deserve to be head girl, but I was. And so that was the day that I truly understood, yeah, no, we don't live in a meritocracy. That's not to say that I did not deserve it. But if we're trying to quantify deservedness, how do we quantify that? Do you know what I mean? And that is the point of what I'm saying. That is the question that I am posing to you. How do we quantify deservedness? How do we measure how much someone deserves something good to happen to them and something bad to happen to them without putting into consideration suffering? Because if suffering and hardship is the measurement by which we evaluate someone's deservedness of something, I don't like that. So I must first suffer before I get something good. That's not good. That's not nice. That's not nice. And so I've stopped saying, like, you know, oh yeah, you deserve this, you didn't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. It's just like that's life. Good things happen, bad things happen. That's literally just the ebbs and flows of being human. Things are always going to happen. It's only out of, you know, our desire to find meaning in something that we label it in these myopic binaries of good and bad, negative and positive. It's just life. It's just life. Obviously, we feel, we're obviously all entitled to feel a type of way about things that happen. And obviously, there are things that are more, you know, desired than not. But to try to understand the world based on how much someone deserves something due to how much they've suffered beforehand, I don't like that. I don't need anyone to suffer before I can be happy for them for achieving something or for getting something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just me. And so it's more of like a philosophical kind of, you know, how much is too much and how good is good and how, you know, like who deserves this and who doesn't deserve, because there's a lot of random things that happen in life. And so we can't, you know, be so binary in, you know, in our way of thinking and having conversations about it, because it's going to have a epigenetic impact on you, you know? So, yeah. There's just endless nuance to so many things that we don't really have the conversations about. Me, I can have conversation about something for ages because there are so many ways, so many vantage points from which to view it, you know? Are we viewing it from on the macro level or on a micro level? Of course, there's going to be things that change, you know? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. I would love to really see how other people view this and how other people talk about these things, because, you know, discourse is important. You know what I mean? Like, we expand each other's vocabularies and each other's understanding of things. Like, the more we talk about it and, you know, internalize the parts of it that, you know, that we can apply to ourselves, right?
If you have a problematic problem, I will try my best to solve them. Sending your dilemmas via the email or in the DMs. If you have a problematic problem, I will try my best to solve them. Sending your dilemmas via the emails or in the DMs. If you have a problematic problem, I will try my best to solve them. Sending your
Welcome back to Sayo Says. In this segment, Sayo has given me some time to myself to be dealing with your dilemmas and your stories or something. She's a good girl. She asked me to remind you to subscribe and to like and to share and comment. So for those of you that do not know me, I am Auntie Shade. One of Shayo's many alter egos. There's something wrong with that girl. Let's be honest with ourselves. Many things wrong with that girl. But I am Auntie Shade, and this is dilemma number 1. A little backstory here. Okay, let's read this. A little backstory here. My fiance and I have been together for almost 7 years, and we have a daughter, 5 years. Congratulations. And a son on the way. And again, we will be doing the courthouse next month. Courthouse wedding, I'm assuming. Yes. We'll be doing the courthouse next month to officially get married. We have also been together since we were 12 and have never been with anyone else. Okay. He has never been or even kissed anyone else. Okay. So we are both a little worried about the future. We have a strong relationship and do not want to do anything to ruin that. Okay. I am afraid that his curiosity to see what it's like to be with another woman will overwhelm him in a couple of years and result in cheating. He is worried about the same for me, although I am not very curious. We have talked about a free pass for each other, but neither of us see it as a good idea. What should we do? Okay. So, if you are both curious and you have both had the conversation, then it's up to you individually to see what it is that you want. You said that you're not very curious, you don't really care. And he is also saying that okay, he's worried about the same for me. Okay, so he says that he's worried about you being curious and, you being bored in the relationship further down the line. And then you are saying that you are worried for him. It seems like none of your concerns are of your own. Am I wrong or am I right? None of your concerns are about yourself. It's about how you are feeling about how the other person will feel. But you've already said that you're not that curious. I think you both need to just close the conversation about open relationship. Neither of you seem to really be so interested in opening the relationship, or, you don't really seem to have that much curiosity about being with other people, You've spoken about it, but I think sometimes the hypothetical situations becomes more real in our head than they need to become in reality. You say you have another baby on the way. You already have a baby. Why are you talking about open relationship? Why are you talking about open relationship? There's no need to be doing any of that. You said you're not curious. He has already said that he's not really that curious. It's you that's worrying on his behalf. My sister, why are you taking paracetamol for somebody else's headache? Why is it that you're taking ibuprofen for somebody else's headache? I feel like you're flirting with dangerous territory here. That's just what I can say for you. I don't think either of you should. I think you should both agree to just draw a line under this conversation, under this open relationship thing. Because you said that you have free pass. It's very easy to say these things in isolation, but you seem to be very much in love with each other. You seem to be happy. Baby number 2 is on the way. You said you've not had problem in your relationship. Why do you want to open it? You better close it. You better close it, and you better close your yash as well. Close your yash, close your legs, close every other thing to other people. You are happy with each other. What's the problem? Why do you need to open them? What does it need opening? Is there anything that I've missed in this your dilemma? I don't understand how is this one a dilemma? Okay, you have also been together since you were 12. 12 is very young. But honestly, I think that the curiosity is something that's always going to be there. You're always going to be curious, but you have already said that you're not that curious. Don't let the thoughts of what might be or what you think they might regret or he might regret now get you in a situation where you are not actually fully on board or fully happy with opening up the relationship. Because if one person says, oh yeah, I want to open a relationship, and then the other person, because out of love, out of not wanting to restrict the other person from their desires, you're now going to say, oh yeah, that's fine, baby, you do that. There's going to be emotional repercussions of that. There's going to be repercussions for that. I don't think you need to open up your relationship. I think maybe have the conversations about, trying something new in your own relationship. You said you've been together since you were 12. That's a very, very long time. Do something else. And I think when you have children, it's very easy to settle into the routine. Mix things up. Have you ever had sex on a beach? Have you had sex on a beach? Have you have sex in where do other people have sex nowadays? I don't even know anymore. Have you had sex in cinema? Have you done all these things? Have you done all these things before you were thinking about opening up the relationship that you've been in since you were 12? Experiment with more things sexually in your own relationship. Is there any fantasy that you have for him or that you want to do with him that you have not told him about yet? Tell him. I think you should also focus on challenging your curiosity regarding sex and experimenting inwards within yourselves. What's your fantasy, baby? Do you like, is there something you want to do that you don't want to tell him because you're shy? Go and tell him. So I think focus all of that curious sexual energy, that sexually curious energy into the relationship that you have now, and focus on raising your family and rediscovering and reminding each other why it is you love one another, why it is you've decided to commit your life to one another. I don't think you should entertain this open relationship idea. He's not really expressed that much of an interest in it. You two, you've not really expressed much interest in it. So what are we doing? You don't need to do it just because it's not everything that you must do. It's not everything that you must do. Opening up your relationship is one of those things that you don't need to do, my dear. Shogbo. Oh, ní láti ṣe. Oh, ní láti ṣe rárá, honestly. Because I think you might be opening a can of worms and you don't want that. And now you're there, single mommy, 2 babies. Baby daddy is there doing experimental coitus and experimental sexing. Whilst you, who have already said that you're not very curious. You'll just be there raising 2 babies. And then when it's his turn to go and pick up the kids, you'll just be there. What will you be doing? So that's my advice. I think you should close the open relationship conversation with your partner and focus all of your sexual curiosity and sexual energy into your own relationships as it is right now. Be very honest about what it is you want sexually. If there's anything that you think is missing in your relationship, you're not going to find it in the opening of that relationship, my dear. I hope that helps. Thank you. Sayo says that suffering is not the barometer with which you should measure how deserving you are of something good. Okay? I hate when people act like, oh yeah, you suffered. You've not suffered enough to deserve this good thing, this great thing happening to you. People can't seem to justify in their heads how good things happen to people who they perceive to be undeserving, right? And obviously there's, again, nuance to this. There's context to this. And there are some cases that, absolutely people do not deserve the things that they have. Sorry. I can say that. This is a philosophical episode, okay? This is just us philosophizing some philosophy between ourselves, just you and me, babe, right? But absolutely I can and have said, like in the past, I have seen someone, or a group of people or whatever, get something and be like, do you deserve that? Like, how deserving of you is that? But then obviously retrospect is like, no, actually, things are just gonna, it's just, that's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. That's just the way it is. Great things happen to terrible people. Terrible things happen to great people. And so how do we measure without, trying to quantify suffering into it? How do we measure how deserving someone is of something good happening to them or something bad happening to them? And so for me, the understanding and the position that I take is very much, shit happens. Good things happen, bad things happen, things happen. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of Sayo Says. Have you heard what Sayo says? Whether she's sitting down by herself or with her friends, that's what Sayo says. Let's get it. Mine's Nika and Pints. Also, do you guys like my bag? I'm so fake because I did not need this bag at all. But when the bag is part of the fit, today I'm looking very Afro-futuristic and I really love that. I love that for me. I'm going to put my shades back on just so that you can see the full. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, this is so, yeah, screenshot that. Look at that. So Afrofuturistic. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this around. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because they're gonna love this. They're gonna love it. They're gonna have fun. You've got something to talk about, man. Come on, you're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. Tag a friend, tell a friend about Sayo Says. And I will see you again in the next episode. Love you. Mwah. Kisses for you.